All right, welcome back to Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Cynthia.
And today we are making
Chicken soup.
And so there's several steps to this, but don't get overwhelmed. We're going to break it all down. So I'm going to actually take the camera and go around the kitchen. Cynthia's going to walk us through what we'll be going through, and then we'll break it down and do it step by step. Okay?
Yes, and chicken soup, that's okay. Chicken soup does have different steps, but once you make your stock, it's so good in so many things. So I try to have this as easy as possible to understand, I should say. Okay, so when you do soup, you are going to take like onion, and there's 3 of these in here that you just chop really just thick, and then you are going to, I use avocado oil, and then you're going to sweat the onions. And sweat means that when you heat them up, it's going to be medium heat, that they'll be translucent, and then you don't want to brown them, so you don't want to get it too hot. They'll just sweat the onions, and then you'll add garlic. And the garlic will add flavor, and you don't want your heat to be too hot, just medium heat, because you don't want them to burn. So in this pot are, there's a clove of a garlic, so I left it big because we're not going to put this in the soup. This is just for flavor. So there's cloves of garlic, onion, big chunks of carrots, that's easy to see. And then celery, and the celery I left big, and if you notice that these are all leaves, you leave the leaves in there because that's just part of the flavor. So this has been cooking, and it's sweat. Sweat. So they're just translucent. So that's what the sweating of vegetables are. The carrots will cook the slowest because they're the most dense. So these are ready to go. So
you didn't add water. It's
No.
just the water that was in the vegetables that's coming out.
This is what you're going to do at the beginning to make your stock.
Okay.
Okay? This is the flavor. Now, I already made a stock just so you can see another part that you will be doing. So when the part that I wanted to show you with this, so you can see that, right? Okay. I was explaining to Tiffany that in recipes they'll say, oh, skim the scum. So skimming the scum, this is your scum. Okay, and this will be any kind of stock, even if you have beef stock or vegetable. It's just all of the stuff, the gunk, I think we called it before.
Yeah.
What is scum that comes to the top? So I'm just skimming that. Now, if I had time to put this in the refrigerator, it would be easier to collect. So it's like oils and particles that would probably be okay to eat. It just makes your stock murky. So you want a nice clear broth. So I was going to say the impurities, but it's not like bad for you impurities. So I did my best to do that. So that's why I left this in 2 parts. That sweating your vegetables, whatever you want, you could for your flavor of your stock, and then when you have cooked your chicken down, the skimming of the scum. So when you read a recipe, you'll go, oh, that's what that meant. Okay? Now I'm going to show you another step that I'm going to just put this in. Now, we're kind of improvising because you're just learning the cooking technique part. So I combine that and I'm going to put it on to heat it up because we're going to add more flavor to the stock. And that is going to be all the herbs. This is the, what's the French term? Mirepoix. So here are the peppercorns. You can buy peppercorns just in the grocery store. This is just the bottle that says pink. I don't have any pink peppercorns. Then I also have dill, thyme, parsley. This is an Italian parsley because I think it's easier to chop the leaves. And so if you look in here, I have the stems. And this is when a good kitchen knife is, or kitchen scissors. You can just do the stems, make them a little bit smaller. So you can gather all of this. You're not going to put it in the soup like this. You're going to wrap it in cheesecloth.
Why do you do it that way instead of just dumping it in?
Because it just contains it.
Oh, so
it's like a little pocket.
So it's easier to take it back out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. So this is flavoring anything. And if you like pepper, you can add more. I tend to like the flavor of green. And then this is just twine. I want to make sure none of the greens can sneak out. Okay.
So you're just tying it so they stay contained.
Mm-hmm. And then too, don't worry about bending the leaves or anything. That's okay. It's like bruising the leaves. That's okay. That'll add the flavor. And I forgot to, there's a bay leaf already in there, but I used to have a bay tree. But this is just something that I bought at the grocery store in the produce aisle. So like when you put your bay leaf in, make sure like you crack it and bruise it because that'll bring out the flavor too. It's just like when you do mint.
It's like releasing the flavor kind of.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Good. Thank you for that. So I'm going to just knot it.
So I have a question. So we made almond milk last week and we used, is it the same? It's not exactly the same type of cloth, but can you use the same cloth?
Yes.
You can? Okay.
We used a milk bag, but you can use cheesecloth.
Okay.
So whenever you see cheesecloth, like at a hardware store or the grocery store, I always just pick it up. It's kind of like bananas. Oh, it's always good to have
Wait,
on
a
hand.
hardware store?
Hardware store has cheesecloth sometimes.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
They use it for, but I always see them in random places, and it's like, oh yeah, cheesecloth. Do I have any? Oh yeah. Oh, if I don't, it's like $3.50. Just like pick it up
Just
and
buy it.
have it on hand. It's non-perishable.
Yeah, that's good to know because I don't know how you are, but for me, if I don't know where to find it in the store, I get discouraged and I'm like, forget it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that and some other items too. So, I'm going to, I'm just cutting off the extra ends of the cheesecloth so it doesn't soak my delicious stock. Okay, so that's our nice little bag of greens and peppers. Okay, and I just I can hear it crunching. I'm going to make it long so it can come float to the bottom of the stock pot. And we're just going to put it in here, stick it down there, and we're going to bring it to a boil. I think, oh yeah, it's a little bit of cheesecloth there. Okay, so I'm going to bring this to a boil and simmer, and all this goodness will be very flavorful. And if you want, you can just tie a little knot and put a lid on it. This is my improvised lid. Because my real lid and stock pot are in Northern California, where I get to play grandma sometimes and cook. Okay, so we'll let that come to a boil, and then we'll let it simmer. And then that will be the flavor. And then I will take all the vegetables out, and I'll show you. And it'll be more cheesecloth, and we'll have a broth. But right now, I'm going to show you how to start your stock. So the first part of doing a stock is basically getting the vegetables that you want to flavor your stock and all those nutrients. So celery, carrots, and onion, for sure onion and garlic are your basics. So Tiffany is going to help me
learn how to chop an onion.
Yeah, so this is an onion. This is just a regular onion. It's I like to use like a Maui or some of the sweeter onions at the store. So of course it has all the skin. So the part that has, this is the top, you're going to just cut that off.
And this one's already like peeled.
Right, I did that for Tiffany already. So, or maybe, okay, so then you're going to take all this skin off. And this is a chef knife. It's always better to use a larger knife than a smaller knife, like a paring knife for this. And so you're going to just take all that skin off with the edge. If you feel uncomfortable, I guess you can just dig in there with your fingernails.
I was gonna say, I've always just grabbed it and pulled.
Yeah, I guess okay. I'll let you.
You were being so professional.
There you go. I'll let you finish it. You have more fingernails than I do too.
This is new, actually.
So,
Okay.
and usually I kind of have a trash can right here, but well,
We couldn't think of everything.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is what it looks like when all the skin is off. It's a nice clean onion, except for this little back part. That's going to keep it together. So for the stock, we don't need to dice and have small pieces because we're just using this for flavor. So you're going to cut your onion in half. And how do I, like this? Just cut it in half so there's a flat side. So it's going to look like this on your cutting board. And then you're going to slice it like this, maybe 3 times, and get rid of that end. Do you see that?
Okay, so slice, and I'm still like trying to figure out how to do my fingers like you do.
Oh.
Because I always want to have to
Okay.
hold them this way.
Okay, instead of like this?
Yeah. But okay, so
Okay,
I've got,
so you've got, this is going to be the back end.
Mhm.
And this is fun because I'm so right-handed and you're
And I
left-handed.
love him. So we're mirroring.
Yeah.
You get to see whichever hand you use.
Yeah. And then you're just going to make big chunks. You don't have to. Perfect.
Okay.
And then another one.
And you have, see now I want to do this because I'm scared of it like sliding down onto my fingers. But you have them behind.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. And then we could put them in the soup like this, just peel them apart because they'll be easier to get them out of the soup once they are, or you can cut them in half again. And I think we will just leave it like this. So, but we'll gather all of this, and I've got a bowl or a container right here. We'll just put all this in here. That's the fun part.
Okay, so just breaking it apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the whole thing, when you're making stock, is I'm really thrifty here. Is the vegetables are just for flavor. Okay, and so there you go.
So probably if your fingers are behind like this, the knife isn't going to slip backwards. Is that the thing?
Yeah, or
I'm
it's just
afraid of it.
following. Yeah.
I'm afraid of like I'm trying to cut and it will go that way. Just slide.
Yeah, but you're protecting yourself, like
By having
when you're
fingers.
cutting it up. Don't stick your fingers like that, because you could cut yourself. And everyone cuts themselves. I mean, even professional chefs. But you're just kind of gliding down like this, and you're holding it. Now, if you have fingernails, it's a little bit harder. I just always use my hands. My hands are my tools, so I don't always have much of a fingernail. But like, let's say if you have acrylic or gels,
Mm-hmm.
then that could be a little bit harder.
Okay.
So onions are done, and that's what we're going to sweat first. So the sweating is not browning an onion, it's just putting the onions in the oil, which I put avocado oil into the bottom of the pan just to coat the bottom. Because once the onions and any of your vegetables start, well, especially your onions start sweating, it makes its own juices. Awesome. So if you want to put those in the kettle, I made the nice bigger
Okay,
kettle.
so I don't know if you can see, but I'm just dumping them.
And I just put them all, I don't have a gas range, I have an electric one, so I just dialed it to medium. So they're going to sweat, they'll become translucent. I don't know why they call it sweat.
I know, it doesn't sound very
I know, you're sweating the vegetables, but we all know what it is like to sweat. So now we have garlic, and buying the clove of garlic in the store, you know, I think we all know that. And then, or this is a head of garlic, this is a clove of garlic. So we want to take that skin off. So the easiest way to do this is get the flat of your knife, hold it like this, your chef knife.
So
It's a chef
sharp
knife.
edge away from you.
Yes. Oh, good. And then you're just going to pound it. And it's going to crack the skin. And if it didn't crack the skin enough, just do it again. And you can crinkle it off again.
Did I do it too hard if I smashed my garlic?
And it's fine if you smash it because that just makes the flavor come out.
Okay.
And we'll throw it in the pot. Now we're not going to dice this or anything. Again, we're going to leave all of our pieces in nice big chunks. We could do those too. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to put lots of garlic in because cooked garlic is not like raw garlic and it will add a lot of flavor. And garlic is good for you, and chicken soup is good for you.
Yeah. Hi there.
We're making this for our mutual friend.
You want to wait? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want to help? I guess this one I didn't do hard enough.
What's this for, Cynthia?
That's for cleaning the vegetables. So Riley has a mushroom brush. It's got really soft bristles, and I keep that in my kitchen all the time. So, like, Riley, do you want to clean one of those carrots?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's perfect. That's exactly what I do. So I don't have to peel my carrots and lose any of the nutrients. That's right.
Good job. So the reason you want to do that is because a lot of the vitamins and the nutrients of the carrot are in the skin.
Uh-huh. And
Can
we're
we
cooking it too, so it's not like
Can we bring some carrots home, Cynthia?
you sure can. And take some home.
She said we can take them home.
All
Don't
right.
you think this is therapeutic? Just whack
It
this
is.
garlic clove.
We need something to whack,
Yeah.
make some
Whack.
soup, and get some garlic. Thank you, honey.
Now could you
I don't know what to do with this yet. She's going to show us in just a minute.
please, Mom?
Hold
Okay.
on. She's-
Okay, so we'll cook some carrots. And okay, we've got 2 pots going here. The first one that we put the bouquet of all the herbs in is come to a boil. So I'm going to put it and just let it simmer. So all those flavors can just have fun in there. They're dancing around. And then the onions, I'm going to turn them up a little bit because
Could I see?
they're not starting to sweat.
Yeah.
So I just turned that up. It's not sizzling. This is a new pot for me, and I told Tiffany I bought like a one that's really like a cheaper pot. It's not heavy. I'll probably regret doing that, but like I said, I left my other pot up north.
Here, right, do you want to come on this side with me?
So, as you can see, we just like left these cloves, and we're going to put those, once the onions start being a little more translucent, we'll put the cloves of garlic in. Garlic can burn, and once it's okay to have a roasted garlic, but once garlic burns, it's like you just, it gets bitter,
Oh, okay.
and you can smell it. It turns bitter, so we don't put that in until the onions are cooked a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do a carrot.
All right, Riley's excited.
Okay, so we're going to just take off the end where the greens were, and then you could, if the tip, just to clean it up.
I'll cut the side off.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Wait, we're not chopping it too much, are we? Are we chopping it more?
And then you could do it in like threes,
Okay.
because we're going to leave it in chop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll do the same. And then we're going to cut each piece in half lengthways.
Can I see how you did your fingers again?
Oh, I just did it each
Oh,
one.
okay.
Okay. All
I'm
these.
going to take some carrots home.
Want to eat one? One? Do you want to take that one? Which ones do you want to take home? Do you want the ones that are cut up, or do you want to take it whole?
I'm going to take a whole.
Okay. Those, how many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good job. Good job. Now, I'll take a little, like, so this is a carrot, and we cut it, and so the base of the carrot, where it grew out of the ground, and this is the tip. So we want it to cook evenly, so I'm going to cut these in half again because they're thicker and chunkier, so they'll cook evenly as to these.
Okay.
Okay.
So these big ones, we're going to cut again.
And perfectly. Put the flat side down. You just did it instinctively, so great. I'm going to check the soup.
Oops, we got these carrots. There we go.
How many do we have?
Now how many do we have?
So to give you the update of the soup, the stock that we have, I shouldn't call it soup, it's stock, that I cooked ahead of time that we took photographs of, it's just like a rolling little bubble, like a little
Okay.
fountain gurgling in there, and that's really good. And I could hear the sizzling of the oven, or the onion now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll start turning translucent.
Okay.
Or sweating, or turning translucent. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. All right. So our carrots are ready to go, so those will come in after
These ones.
the garlic.
Okay.
Okay, so we could do the rest of the carrots, or do you want to do a celery?
Should we do all of them?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay.
All
Do you
right,
want to
do you
help,
want me to
or
do-
you just want to eat?
All right.
Snack break. This is what my mom used to call cook's prerogative. You get to eat as you're cooking. Watch your fingers, please. There you go. Oh, run away, carrot. He's like, I don't want to be cooked. So you heard the sizzle get louder. Is that why you turned around?
Yeah, I just want to see if it's sweating.
Okay.
So I want to get the garlic in there.
There's those. Okay, so celery.
Okay. So for the celery, we're going to leave the greens on the top.
Okay.
We're making stock, not soup. So like I just saw like when I bought at the grocery store, like that doesn't look all that great. So I'm just gonna clean up that part, that little brown
Yeah.
nib.
Just on the end where it got dry.
Yes, that's a good way of describing it.
Hi. Hi.
And then I washed all these, but it's still dark. And the little scrubber, I even did that, you know, when the water was running over it. And so it was just stained. So we could cut that part off too.
So if mine's pretty white, do I still
I would
cut off
still
the right?
cut off, yeah, just
Okay.
clean it up.
I do have one more piece, Cynthia.
Okay. I don't know, why did I have, I had garlic in there. Here, you can put that rest of the garlic in there.
How high up would you do?
Your lighter color isn't going to have much flavor.
Okay.
The greener something is, the more flavor, so.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to throw away unnecessarily.
Yeah, but it was like, yeah, whatever you wouldn't want to eat. So, and then again,
I can't do
cut
it.
it in 3.
But
and
with the-
now
with the
your-
salad.
Carrot will take longer to cook than your celery, just because the carrot will be denser. So
Yeah.
onion goes in first because we want to sweat it till it's translucent. Then we're putting in the garlic because we want the garlic to get in there and have flavor, but we don't want it to burn because it will go bitter. Then we'll add the carrots
Okay.
and the celery. So we can go through.
Will you do all these?
Yeah, let's definitely take, we probably don't have to do all of them, but we'll take all of them that have the bushy tops and put it in our soup. And anything else we'll save for hummus.
Oh. That's a good idea. That hummus that we made a few weeks ago, you can dip celery in it for a snack.
Oh yeah, I love I know, I always have celery and carrots at work because I need to crunch out that aggression.
You think that's
I'm not alone either. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I've got carrots to share today.
crunch out the aggression? I like that.
Yeah.
So
Carrots
Your boss-
taste so good.
your boss comes over and says something nasty.
Yeah, exactly. She's usually crunching carrots and celery too.
Oh my gosh.
Mom,
What?
I only want to bring 2 carrots, one more together. Mom, do you have a bag of carrots?
We have carrots at home. Is that what you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, we already have some at home.
Carrots are good. We're putting our carrots in some soup.
And I'm a little bit of a tiny bit of a perfectionist. So
Mom.
you want it to be like,
Do you have
Even?
a
Raise. Yeah, it doesn't need to be
Mom,
even.
Mom.
Not for this part.
okay.
Maybe next week when we do vegetable stock. When you eat the vegetable, like having all the nice dicing the same.
One,
Oh,
That
yes.
will be.
For the texture of it.
I'll
Yeah.
put this in the other carrot.
Okay,
in
vegetables
there.
are sweating.
I'll eat this carrot.
Okay. So the onions are sweating. You want to see what it looks like when they're sweating?
Smell it?
Oh, it does smell good. And we just see the juices come out. They're lighter color. Okay. So now we just add the garlic? Or not quite yet?
Let's get some more celery. Because celery adds like a peppery green flavor. So, and we have it. Especially the one with the bushy ends. A little bit. And the rest we can save.
Why is it the bushy ends that you want in your stock?
Oh, don't throw it away. It's again just good flavor. Oh wow, you can smell those leaves, and they smell. That's why I like celery.
Oh.
How how peppery it smells.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that's
just
what's going to
always-
be added to the soup.
As a kid, we just always threw that part away. I didn't know. Thought you weren't supposed to eat that part.
But we do. So our onions are slowly becoming translucent.
Oh, so something else you mentioned is that this is a new pot for you. So it's taking a little bit longer this time than you had anticipated. So this is something we had talked about before, just between us, but I don't think we shared on video.
Yeah, probably not.
That I always wonder why my stuff never turns out, or well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And you were saying that every pot is different, every oven is different.
Oh yeah.
So, so you have to kind of get to know your tools and
Oh.
know what works in your kitchen with your tools. So it might not even have been that I was a bad cook.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So this pot, I thought I had my large stock pot here, but I have a son that lives in Northern California, so whenever I go up there, I'm like always making like stews and things like that.
Why do we have these?
They're just for you, Riley, right? And we're going to scoop. We're going to do some scoops, okay? That's going to be next. Are you going to help me? Yeah? Does that mean yes? Good. So I ran to Smart and Final. I just got this is, you see how light this is? Just for like $10. And now I'm like, okay, you get what you pay for. Yeah, but I'll always use it, but I think that really is making a difference in how my onions are cooking. My other stock pot, like this is like, I know there's something in it, so it's hard to judge, like, oh yeah, it's heavier, it will conduct the heat a lot better. This is just an aluminum, and I'm like, oh, this really makes a difference.
And so, like,
that's
so
not
you had it at a
cooking.
certain setting, and then you turned it up because it wasn't cooking as quickly as you wanted. So that's something that I never knew to pay attention to. I would just sit there and wonder, why isn't it happening like it says in the book?
And that's why you'll never hear me say, oh, well, cook these for 20 minutes. Go by sight. Like the onions need to sweat. They'll become translucent because every stove is different. I have an electric stove and by choice, but if I were at work, they'd have gas.
And that
And it
makes a
cooks so much
difference, too.
faster too, yes.
Okay, good to
Yeah.
know.
But I didn't want that industrial look for my kitchen, so I'm like, no, I just want something I can clean really easy. So
Yeah.
I have just a flat top, and my house was built in the 70s, so it's electric. So I'm like, no, I'm just keeping it simple, it's electric. If I had gas, it'd be different.
So electric typically cooks a little bit slower. Gas typically.
Yeah, you can't regulate the heat as much as you can gas.
Okay.
But
So just that though, just that means like it makes a big difference in how I'm going to cook at home now, knowing that what it says in the book is like a general suggestion guideline, but
Oh,
not,
absolutely.
not like the hard rule.
yeah, or like if you're going to a vacation cabin or something, and you got to get used to that stove. But if you know what it needs to look like to make it, then you go, oh, okay, it's your tools.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your tools. And so we're just waiting for the onions to become iridescent. So in the stock that we already have made, we're going to, trying to think, we're going to make meatballs for our chicken soup. Meatballs and put star noodles in it. So I'm just thinking what I should do first. I think I'll make the meatballs.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it, and then let's just clean this up a little bit, and then I'll bring the chicken meatballs.
Okay. Okay. So now that the onions are mostly they're really limp and really light, we're adding just the garlic for now. stirring, right?
Mm-hmm. And they'll become soft too. Not that you have to poke them or anything. Just let them cook, and you'll start smelling.
Too
the
bad we can't
flavor.
let them smell.
I know. I
what we're
know.
smelling.
Aromatherapy. It would be good. Yeah. That's what we're making, the chicken
So that.
stock and soup. And chicken stock will be just, besides healthier, it will just be so much better than what you can buy in a carton or can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And this won't have all the sodium. When you buy it from the store, it has a lot of sodium added for a preservative. But that much isn't good to have.
I
in the
haven't
bag.
even added any salt.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I garnish with like Parmesan cheese, like a hard cheese,
Mhm.
and that is kind of salty. So that just is the natural.
Okay.
So, okay. So I will start. Well, you're going to kind of babysit that,
Ooh.
but really, if you were at home, you wouldn't have to.
Okay, but just
You
because
wouldn't
I'm
have to
learning.
stand there. I just wanted you to go. Oh yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now we're gonna spin you guys around.
Right. So I'm going
Hopefully
to
this
make
works.
the meatballs, and I made this for my family many times and just put them in the refrigerator. Not necessarily. Well, I mean, I love it in the soup, but they're just really good to have whether you add like a sauce. So I'm following the recipe. We've included it for Ina Gardner. I wonder, can we do this?
And
She
she's
can be next to you.
she's the barefoot Contessa.
Have you?
I didn't recognize her actual
Oh,
name,
yeah.
but I recognized the barefoot Contessa.
The barefoot
Like
Contessa.
over this?
So this is
Get 'em
ground
over there.
chicken plus chicken sausage, and it's Italian chicken sausage. And I just wanted you to know it comes like, okay, sausage, but you need to squeeze the sausage out of the casing. The casing is the clear lining that keeps all the sausage together. So that's why I waited to make sure that you just saw this. And if you, like this is meat for anyone that wants to go vegan or vegetarian and this grosses you out, then you can always wear latex gloves, and that usually helps. But
And next week we're doing vegetable soup.
yes,
Yeah.
we're going to make vegetable stock and vegetable soup. Okay, so that's ready to go. And I just get in there and mush it together. Now this recipe, you can just put everything in. So I've got 2 cloves of garlic. Oh, we need to do this is, Trader Joe's has cloves of garlic that are frozen. This is just wonderful to have in your freezer. And that's what I just used. Just for when it's like a little ice cube tray. Turn around. See how they're in there? They're just handy to have in your freezer.
And it's frozen, so you just pop one out.
Yeah.
The garlic ice cube.
And then it asks for breadcrumbs, and I think this was 2/3 breadcrumbs. I always use panko. It's a very lightweight breadcrumb. And then 1 large egg and lightly beaten. So I did this all ahead of time. And you can see I have all these little glass bowls with everything in it. This is just something that you learn when you're in culinary school. It's called,
Mise en place.
yes, you have
Everything
everything ready.
Place.
Right. And then Parmesan cheese.
So can I ask a question? Do you know why you're mixing ground chicken with chicken sausage? Why not just do all ground chicken? Do you know
Because
why?
of the flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, this has a little more Italian flavor, even though they were out of the Italian sausage, so it'll taste a little bit of an apple. So it's all about flavor.
Okay.
Okay, and so
So if you wanted to, like say you couldn't find the sausage or something, could you just do the ground chicken and add your own flavor?
yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it wouldn't be as like seasoned or soaked in, but
Yeah, or you could just use ground chicken. Yeah, I just know that this
flavoring is
recipe,
amazing.
and yeah, my family has loved it. So I have blended it all together. So I was thinking Riley might want to help me because whenever we've had dough, it's been cookie dough. But that's basically the same thing we're going to do is, I think she likes to take the purple one, is take the scoop, put the ground turkey in there, and get, you want to get that sheet pan, and we'll bake them. And then that's, and you're just going to, there's a parchment sheet on there.
That's for ease of cleaning
Right,
up.
and they don't have to be like rolled, like dough. I mean rolled, what am I trying to say? Roll, like round as in a roll. Because there'll be like little lumps of meat that resemble meatballs. And we'll just bake them and then we'll add them to our soup. Okay, and I'm going to check the sizzling onion. Tiffany does that.
Okay.
I smell garlic.
So so those are your cues. You're not using a timer, which is what I've always done. You're going by. You could smell the change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when
See
you need
it.
to go. And
So-
my eyes are crying a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to add the carrot because that'll take longer to cook.
And then the celery goes last.
Right. I just
Okay.
want the carrots to get a head start because they're denser. So like if you were adding like another kind of root vegetable, you would probably want to get that in there also. With celery. And we're leaving it chunky because it's not like we're going to eat it, we're just using it for flavor.
So the chicken soup isn't like oh, we've had a long day at work, what can we make at home for dinner? It's more of a, like we're cooking today type of a.
Yeah, you could
Thing.
make your meatballs ahead of time, bake them, put them in the refrigerator or freeze them ahead of time. I've made them a lot by freezing them ahead of time because you could always. And then we're making stock because that's always nice to have ahead of time also and keep it in the refrigerator or freezer. The stock needs to cook like for 4 hours. So, like if I would do that like one day, just have it ahead of time, just to be on the healthy side. Or take, like if I were out, like doing yard work today, I would have the stock just simmering on the stove
Okay.
with my back door open while I was, doing things in my backyard or doing other household chores. I kind of do all my household chores. So doing laundry, that type of thing, makes the house smell really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go put one right here. I'm going to put these in the oven.
Okay.
It's a 350 oven. That's a typical temperature to bake at. And when you make these, whether you use them all for your soup or not, they're just really handy to have
I
on
know
hand.
my husband Nathan likes putting them in like a sandwich, like a meatball sandwich.
Ooh, yeah.
Or we do like pasta made out of veggie noodles, and we'll put them in that kind of a pasta. Or I'm trying to think what else. What I've done before is if I'm like running around crazy busy for whatever reason, and I just need something that's going to sustain me energy-wise and fill my tummy, I'll just take a few meatballs with me. And it's not necessarily like a whole balanced meal, but it's something good to just take and go.
Right. Yeah, no, meatballs are just really handy. Kids love to eat them. So let's get this ready, and then I realized the camera's in front of the oven.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna move you again. Oh, maybe it would have made more sense to have you guys over on this side. So we're still learning. Thanks for
And we get a little vertigo. Okay,
Yeah. Does that work? Okay.
Sure.
Thanks for bearing with us as we figure out all the camera angles and everything, but you can't see me now.
Well, come on over here. Can you see my kitchen? Because that's probably where I'll go next.
To the sink?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, oven open. Get my oven. Oh, I didn't realize I had a.
What did you have?
I have a sheet pan in there.
Oh.
Because actually I was going to do something else. Okay, so I said 350, and these will probably take about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So about 20 minutes, give or take, in your oven.
I'm going to see, yeah, I'm going to see how brown they are. And they'll keep on cooking in the soup.
Oh, they will.
Uh-huh. Even though I love a crock pot, so we are cooking everything and putting it together. But you can sure assemble this, and then if you're away at work and want to come home to like chicken soup goodness on a rainy day, like for Southern California, we've had a few. Maybe that's why I thought of making chicken soup.
Yeah, you're craving it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, opportunity. It's raining. So, besides that, we have a friend that's under the weather, so.
Yeah. Flu season.
Okay. I want to get the other pan out. It's hot. But I forgot that was in there. The oven. Way out of the way. Meatballs in. And I'm going to put a timer on just to remind myself to check.
We've got lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, and I'll go.
Brain dead or something.
Okay, so vegetables are sweating.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And this pan really is cooking different than my other one. So I'm going to try to move some of the ones that are a little rawer
To the bottom.
to the bottom, yeah. And the onion place too. Put the onion on top. Okay, so this has been simmering for a while, and this would be like for our soup. Even though like the herbs and everything that were in there, I would like have that in there way longer.
Okay.
The peppercorns and all of that. But we can make this soup by taking all the carrots out, draining it, and all of that. So we just have our stock. So that's why I kind of did it in steps.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to squish so all the juices stay. And so.
So
this-
if anything, like, you could just let it simmer and simmer and simmer and simmer, and all it does is just get more flavor.
I will reduce so I get flavorful.
Okay.
Okay, so. I'm not too sure. You can probably see. So, I'm a big fan of crock pots, like I had said. So I'm going to just get my crock pot. I have one that the kettle comes out of. And then I have a sieve. At work, there would be something much more sophisticated, but this is what I clean my vegetables in, but it's perforated. So that will catch all of the vegetables that I already made stock with the vegetables that we're making in the bigger one, but just to save time today, so we could turn our stock into soup here now. It emptied out. Oop, almost. So no more. I feel that hot compared to the one. I'm
She let me
cooking
feel the
it
other
now.
one when it was. Oh yeah.
Okay, you can feel the weight
Yeah.
on the bottom and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like love this. I
And
don't
it
think
does
I
smell so good.
didn't pay that much for it, but it just wasn't big enough for making the quantity. If you're gonna make stock, just make a lot, because you can always put it in the refrigerator.
So that's what you do to save time, is that because it's such a process to make it, you just make a lot all at
Mhm.
once and save it.
And it wouldn't be such a process. We're kind of dragging it out, but once you just like make it once, the more you make it, the faster it goes.
Mhm.
And we'll probably even be teaching you next week faster when we do the vegetable
Yeah.
stuff, because it's like, oh yeah, this is
Now we know
a little
how
bit
to chop
faster.
all of these, or maybe not.
Right. So here's all my vegetable goodness. I still see that I have. I could have put a cheesecloth in it. Maybe I'll do it again. Excuse me. Just so I just get a nice clean broth.
Okay.
It's like the little bits of the lettuce leaf and everything that are still in there. And
Okay.
unfortunately, this is, you're just going to get thrown away. And let me clean things up. I want a nice clean broth. And I don't know if you can hear
Hear the sizzle.
the sizzle.
Your soup will, your stock will talk to you.
It's as it's sweating. It's like,
Kind of like you during your workout,
yeah,
complaining
I
while you're
was gonna
sweating.
say. Like that one I told you about. I like listening to that the one exercise person, because I could
Oh,
hear
yeah.
her breathing and everything.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I was like, when I work out, I like to listen to music so I don't hear myself breathing. Because if I hear myself like, I feel like I get tired so much faster, so I put the music on. Cynthia was saying she's the other way, that she likes to hear the rhythm of the breath.
Or yeah, my instructor going, okay, all right, 3 more, 2 more. I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. Yeah, okay, she's better at it than I am, but at least I'm not.
She's breathing hard too. It
I
is
know,
hard.
I know.
It is hard. You want to see what we're doing? So look, this is the
Okay,
broth that we are
cheese.
making.
Cloth comes in handy. So even though I have a perforated,
She's snipping me.
Snippy, I'm trying to cut it. There we go.
Why, Cynthia?
Because I just need a piece of it. I'm gonna tuck down in
See,
here.
there's these little pieces in here. We're gonna get those little pieces out.
Yeah, so all those little leaves. Oh, no, it didn't fork.
Didn't work.
It didn't fork. No, I think I need more. As in, going the other side too.
What?
So these are my kitchen, oh, thank you, my kitchen scissors, which are so handy. If you don't have kitchen scissors, I highly recommend, and I'll take it apart and show you why. Are you watching me, Riley? Let's see if it works this time.
So you're saying specifically kitchen scissors, not just scissors that you use,
Mm-hmm.
and not any scissors that you happen to use in the kitchen.
Correct, and I'll show you why. They're easy to clean, you can just put them in the dishwasher.
Okay.
Got all the beets out.
Yeah, did you see all the leaves coming out? A little cleaner. Clean, clear broth is nice.
Working in a restaurant for several years, they always told us you taste with your eyes first. before it ever gets to your mouth. So that's interesting that you really are interested in how it looks. But it's true, we do. We look at it, and if it looks nice, we decide it's going to taste nice.
Yeah, that is true. Presentation. Oh, I still have some more leaves in there. Should I try it again? Okay. Are you getting heavy for your mama? Just getting exercise.
Yeah. This is my arm burnout. Just go until I can't hold anymore.
I just remember, yeah, maybe my daughter-in-law.
Behind your shoulder.
I'm going to be up on my shoulders.
Oh, wait.
Okay, there we go. That's better.
Yep. Okay, I highly recommend double cheesecloth because even that, it's like the cheesecloth is so loosely. Where did the cheesecloth go? Tucked away someplace. Oh well. It's the loose weave is like making a hole. So even I've done this several times. I'm like, oh. It could be just the cheesecloth that I have.
That's Cynthia.
Because I want to make sure all the leaves and all the vegetables are out. That it's just the water, the broth, the stock.
Doesn't it smell really good, Riley? Yeah.
Can we put some star noodles in here and some meatballs? Would you like that? So, I don't remember doing this 3 times. Yeah, I think it was Bob, this one. But I have poured this 3 times. So I'm just going to leave it at
So
that.
as many times as you want, basically, to just get it as clear as you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is my crock pot, so I'm going to put it in my crock pot.
Can you show them really quick what it looks like after you've done it? Right here. That's kind of what
Can
it
you
looks
see?
like.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could smell it. Seriously, it smells so good.
I'm just going to wipe off the edge. Kind of clean as you go. And I'm going to crank it up on high, just because.
Okay.
Alright, so that's the beginning of the one that we had from the get-go. So let's check out the sweating vegetables and then the meatballs. Oh, that's another feature that I didn't think about.
What is it?
The handle is hot. We didn't realize on the lid is hot.
This looks really good. Looks a little bit different than I think the first one at the beginning. Do you see how
Has a little more color to it still.
it does? Yeah, even though it's sweating. Okay.
It's kind of
And something else that Cynthia said earlier was that you could give the same recipe to 5 different chefs, and it would turn out 5 different ways. So that's another good thing to remember.
So I told you what inspires me. Like I'll go through different. Well, everyone does like Pinterest, or there's so many things on Pinterest or Instagram to be inspired. Magazines the old-fashioned way, or cookbooks. But I just think you can share recipes, but it won't. You can have 5 different chefs. This is what I told them. You can have 5 different chefs and have the same recipe, and it'll all turn out 5 different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
So that was good for me to know, is that I was taking recipes that I had, like someone else in my family had cooked. And when I tried to do it, it just didn't turn out the same way. And I thought, I must be doing something wrong. I must not be a good cook. But that's not necessarily true.
Not necessarily. And if someone said, "Oh, well, 5 different chefs, same recipe." Well, you need consistency. Yeah, like if you're in a restaurant and they need to produce the same recipe, the same meal all the time. Yes. But usually, I don't care if it's cooking or baking, everyone has kind of their own little style, or everyone's taste buds are a little bit different, so they're gonna add a little something more in it, or culturally, so they might add extra flair to it. So
that makes me feel more excited to cook because I realize it can be a creative process. It can be my own style, my own way, and that's okay. It's not like, I've been thinking it more like math. Like there's a hard and fast rule of how you do it, and if it doesn't turn out this way, it's wrong.
yeah. So cute.
Are you getting sleepy up there?
Yeah. It's sweet. This is why I like, then tools. Like
Yes.
we just like, okay, you know, between ovens or stovetops. This is the kitchen scissor. I'm going to put it there against it. See, and then it comes apart like this, so I can stick it in the dishwasher. So that's what's nice. So I'll cut herbs, and maybe if you're like a carnivore and you do a lot of meat and you cut your chicken or things like that, maybe have a separate one just to keep your no cross contamination. But let's see. So our meatballs are cooking. So that we have two things going on. So we're making soup, but we're also making stock. So in the big pot that has the stock, I want to turn it down a little bit because the vegetables are now nice and sweaty, and I don't want my garlic to burn. So what you need for chicken stock is the chicken. So I'm going to explain to you what I do for chicken.
Okay.
Because Tiffany is learning, and some things I forgot I just do naturally.
This I didn't know to do. I've never done this.
Okay, so I went ahead and got chicken. Every stock, I'm not going to go over like how many, because every stock quantity is different, like whatever recipe you might follow. We included the ones that inspired me, but this is like a leg. And then I just bought these because I just thought, okay, this will fit in my pot very well. Every time you take it out, you buy meat either from a grocery store or a meat market, you're going to take it home, you're going to rinse it off, and you're going to pat it dry with paper towel. Okay, it just cleans it. So I've already done that, and I'm not going to take anything out. There's the spine right there, the skin's still on, and I'm going to put that in our kettle. Because this is what's going to cook for the next 4 hours with water and the veggies.
To make the chicken stock.
Okay?
So that's the other part that we showed first. First we showed the vegetables cooking, and then we showed the chicken stock where she skimmed the scum off the top. That's what you're making now.
Yes.
Okay.
So this will cook, and then I will skim the scum to make it clear.
It smells so good, doesn't it?
I think there's more water in it.
To cover all the chicken.
Yeah. So we can make more soup.
Almost. Just needs a little bit more. And we used this to make meatballs earlier. I think you're really going to like those. They're pretty yummy. I think they will be yummy.
And the recipe I'm using is asking for 7 quarts of water. So that's
We're not eating it.
You can try some. You can try some. You don't have to. Daddy was saying you don't have to. You don't have to.
chicken soup. You don't want to try it? Oh, you don't.
But not even the meatballs though? No? Alright.
Okay. Because this had chicken on it, I'm going to get it away from anything that.
Guys,
See what?
You want to see what's in here?
See the soup?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and something else I thought of when you lifted the lid, something that I was always taught as a kid is to lift the lid away from you because the steam will all come out, and if you put your face in it, it just is really hot.
Instant facial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can feel pretty uncomfortable.
Your mascara. Or if you're wearing glasses, it's like, okay.
You look all fogged up.
Okay, and then also, what did I do with the other cheesecloth thing?
I don't know. We just had it.
Okay, I need to make more of the bouquet of herbs into the little satchel. And
we're just like you when we put things down and can't remember where we put them.
oh, I smell meatballs cooking. Okay, time out. I'm going to find the other cheesecloth.
Okay, be right back. Okay, so now what are we doing?
Okay, so we're going to make the bouquet. That's going to go in. And actually, I think my last one I made, you could make it any way you want. But I think I had 2 teaspoons of peppercorns. So I'm never exact. You know, 1 and 2. And you know, well, it's almost done. I'll just throw the rest in.
Okay.
So sometimes you can bruise these too. And I'll show you how to do that on next week. I'll
Okay.
show you how to bruise the peppercorns, just like how we do the herbs. So we're going to put dill in this also.
Not yet.
And that's saying our meatballs are done, so I'll check those. So like 20 sprigs of dill. That I'm just going by what Ina Gardner is saying, and I'm like, okay, that looks like 10, 15. Make sure the camera can see that. And they could be smaller,
Like a carrot.
Like a carrot.
like a carrot.
Mom,
Like cutting it up like this.
actually, can I eat this one?
So
Yeah, you can eat that.
all can fit in there. And probably the same for the parsley.
And you can get these same place you would get your fresh lettuce, fresh carrots.
Right. Parsley you can find a lot. Just buying a bunch, and then I always wash it and then put it in a jar, and then I keep it in my refrigerator. So, and you just want to put enough water in that the roots are down there. If you fill it all the way to the top, the leaves will get slimy and things like that. But it'll last quite a long time. And this is also, we'll cut some more up. This is great to garnish on top of the soup, any soups.
Tons of stuff.
And so I bought that in bunches, just like cilantro and
Mom.
That's
any
good
of
to
the
know,
produce.
because even when we buy it in bunches like that, I know I'm gonna throw some of it away, so that's good to know.
Oh,
keep it.
sure. Oh, how to preserve it? Yes.
Yeah.
And then I just put it in, well, I have a French door refrigerator, so I just put it in like where you could keep your milks
Okay.
and things like that in the drawer, however you want to do that. Now, the dill, this is like a great thing to think that you brought that up. The dill, I could buy it kind of like a little plant, same cost as if I bought a little package of it. So I
Okay.
think it was like $2.50 for this nice dill plant. Dill isn't always easy to find,
So you
but
may have
I'd
to go to,
really
a
like
health
to
food
grow
store.
it. So we're
Yeah.
going to be growing some. We'll start our kitchen garden pretty soon. And then the thyme was in a little package, but it also
Cynthia,
had.
why is this wet?
Is it wet? I don't know. Were we cleaning things with the mushroom brush? Were we cleaning things with the brush? I don't remember. It's okay if it's wet. And so the thyme also came in a package, but it also had this little growth pod to it. So I'm still going to keep it in a little dish and just keep it in water.
Do you put that one in the refrigerator too?
Yeah. I've always feel more comfortable keeping a jar like this because it seems sturdier. It won't fall over in my refrigerator.
Got it.
So yeah, I could keep it in my windowsill, but I don't know how long it'll last.
Okay.
So because we're just adding this to the bouquet, I just make sure things are clean. But usually with time, if you just needed the leaves, you would just be stripping them, holding them at the top, and then just pulling it down like that.
Okay.
And then all the leaves come out.
Okay.
So and then you have your stem. So, but we could just throw everything in because it smells so good. Doesn't it smell good?
Yeah, it does. Everything smells good.
Okay. So we made one of these earlier, but we're going to make it again because this one is going to really simmer with everything for 4+ hours. Let's bundle everything so it can't escape. Tie it and knot it so it won't come undone. Doesn't have to be really tidy. Just secure, and we can just drop it in.
Smash it.
Yeah, you can just like bruise it.
Yeah.
So all the,
Want to try it?
can you smell it?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Okay, so we're just gonna drop it in here. A bay leaf is already bruised and in there, and it's just going to float around and cook with the chicken.
How come she's putting? How come you're putting the string in?
So I can get it out again. See? I'll go, oh, come here. And I can go, oh, there it is. Good idea?
yeah.
I thought you'd think so. So I'm still trying to bring this up to a boil. We'll put it to a boil and then put it down to a simmer and let it cook for 4 hours.
Mom,
Okay.
Okay?
you have to ring and then take the lid off, then it will pull it right out.
Oh.
Right out.
She already ties things to strings all the time at our house. That's why she wanted to know.
Here's our meatballs. They smell really good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not dark as dark as if it were beef.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can see that they're nice and crunchy. It's probably some of the cheese that's in there.
Okay.
And they're not like perfectly round, like if you were like frying them.
Mm-hmm.
So one side is, you know, brown like a cookie would
You
be.
gotta pay attention to what Cynthia's doing. We gotta let her.
And so we're going to let them cool. And then we can add them to the soup.
All right. But are they still undercooked a little bit? Because you mentioned that they would continue to cook in the soup,
Yeah, they will.
but they're not undercooked. So if you wanted to eat them in some other way, you could.
And I'll count them because I don't remember how many. So you know how many to expect from that recipe. I'm not sure if the recipe said how many there are.
12, 13, plus however
13.
many you just put in. Plus,
9 more.
so 25 plus 9 is 34.
Okay. Good guesstimate. Okay.
And it depends on how big you make them and whatever.
Yeah, I just use that little ice cream scoop that we always use to make little
Dark
bite-sized cookies, and it just works out very well.
So at this point, we are just waiting.
Was it
We're just
tart?
waiting for our soup to cook. Do you like it? Was it good? No, you don't. You don't really eat it. You squeeze the juice onto things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point,
These-
we talked about it. Did we talk about
We
this?
did, but not on here. So
Okay,
these look like lemons because they're yellow, but
they are limes. So this, I was cleaning my backyard, so it was like I have a lot of limes. But limes are so great. You just squeeze some lime juice on soup, and it just brings out the flavor so much. I don't care what kind of soup it is. You know, if it's like a traditional chicken noodle soup, it just adds so much flavor.
I like
So
how you
just
said it earlier. You said it blossoms. The flavor really blossoms.
Blossoms, thanks. Oh, I was testing you, see if you were listening. No.
I was listening. I'm taking all this in, believe it or not.
Well, it's just to add flavor because we want to be satisfied when we eat. So, and then also just I put this out as a reminder to tell you can always slice and dice avocado on top of your homemade soups because that's just that good fat that's for you. So it just makes it a healthy meal. So that's why I had these out as props.
Yes, to remind us.
Okay.
So what point are we at? What's
I'm going to station break, and then we're going to add noodles to the soup and meatballs. Okay. So I had our the stock that we made for our soup in the crock pot, but it was a little premature because I want to add these little star noodles, which I'm going to give Riley one. Here. You can't eat it because it's not cooked yet. But I got little stars just for Riley. Well, we could have had alphabet soup too, but anyway. And so I do want to put our stock back on the stove so it can get hotter, so I can cook the little pasta stars. So I'm going to do that right now.
So is it with any type of pasta noodle you put 1 cup?
Oh, for this recipe, it asks for 1 cup.
Okay.
So if you wanted more noodles in there, or the size. Now, if I could have put it in the crock pot, and it would have cooked eventually, but I want to put the meatballs in and then garnish it so you can see what the soup will look like. So we're going to cook the noodles real quick.
Okay.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh no, you find it?
No.
I found it.
Oh, right there.
There.
Can you get it? No, you don't need to get it.
Lots of stuff on this floor. Do you want it?
Just to look at. Don't eat it. Don't eat
Yeah,
it.
it's not ready to
Don't
eat
eat
yet.
it. Plus, it was.
I
on
mean,
the
you
floor.
could chew it, but it probably wouldn't taste very good.
Too much.
It's on
I
your
used to do
cheek.
that when my mom would make spaghetti. I would nibble this thing crunchy. Just crunch on the uncooked noodles.
Cooked noodle.
The uncooked noodles. Yeah.
Okay. So the last of our meatballs are in the oven. The other ones are cooling. We're making more chicken stock.
Any more updated?
No, I don't think so. Do you want to put that one in? Okay.
Good
Hey.
job!
Bye. It's in there swimming with all of his friends. Yeah. And so, so this is, I'm still waiting to bring to a boil because everything's in there. So it's slowly,
taking a long time.
yeah. And then I'll turn it down to simmer and let it cook for 4 hours. So everything's cooking.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
We learned a lot today.
It's a lot. I hope it wasn't too much, but it's
Okay.
worth it.
Yes.
And there are faster ways of doing it, like if you want to do a pressure cooker. But I just thought, learn some of the basics, like just how to cut the vegetables, why sweat the vegetables, what kind of flavorings you might want in it, how to keep your meat clean, buy clean meat, so to keep it healthy. And then you don't have to spend like a whole afternoon putting it together. So next week when we make the vegetable broth, I'll probably introduce a pressure cooker.
Okay.
But that's like faster, easier, another option. But you still need your basics.
Yeah, and if you know how to do everything, then you can always modify it depending on your situation, how much time you have that day.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
so
this is cool, and this is exactly what I wanted to learn how to cook. So this for me was a lot of new information. I sort of kind of knew some of it, but I wouldn't have had the confidence to try it myself without having you show me how to do all of it and explain it.
yeah.
You're hungry, you're hungry.
Okay.
And we've got a hungry